Welcome to my presentation for my case study for sit732. My topic is Mirai botnet and its continued growth. I'm Ishanvij and this is my presentation. This is the presentation overview where we'll have a quick look at what we're gonna investigate and find out in this presentation. So it is, what are IoT devices? What's the need for IoT security? Mirai botnet overview. What are the components of Mirai botnet? How Mirai botnet actually works? What are some of the high profile cases associated with it? Evaluation and continued growth of Mirai botnet. Attack prevention strategies and defense strategies related to Mirai botnet. And in the end, we'll discuss the mitigation measures that various people can take depending from users, company to manufacturers. So, what are IoT devices? Internet of Things provide an integration of various sensors and objects that can communicate directly to each other without any human intervention. Internet of Things include physical devices such as sensor devices, which are responsible to monitor and gather data. The development of smartphone technology has allowed countless objects to be part of IoT ecosystem through its various sensors included in the smartphone. So, what's the need for IoT security? Since IoT devices are now getting deployed at very large scale and its rapid growth has outpaced the development of adequate security measures, leading to increased vulnerabilities. IoT devices are susceptible to cyber attacks and data breaches, facing security issues similar to those found in sensors, mobile communication networks, and the broader internet. Insufficient development in the field of security for IoT devices has led to many multiple successful cyber attacks and data leakage over the past years. One of the most significant cyber attack in the field of IoT is Mirai botnet, which took place in 2016. So, what is Mirai botnet? Mirai botnet is a type of malicious software that behaves like a worm, infecting IoT devices and gathering them into a botnet used for launching distributed denial of service (DDoS) attacks. It was created by Paris Shah and Joshua White. It basically uses default credentials to crack into vulnerable IoT devices which still has weak or default credentials. My botnet attack targeted on curbonsecurity.com and OVH when it first appeared in 2016, and it exceeded 600 Gbps of traffic, which was followed by the attack on DNS provider DYN and a telecom named Lone Star Cell, which exceeded the traffic volume of 1 Tbps and is still considered as one of the largest DDoS attack. Let's discuss the components of Mirai botnet. Mirai botnet basically consists of four major components. First is the bot. The bot is a form of malware which has dual purpose. Firstly, it aims to infect devices, particularly those with misconfigurations. Secondly, it awaits commands from the individual controlling it, known as the bot master, to launch attacks against a target server. The second component is command and control server, CNC. The command and control server serves as a centralized management interface for the botmaster, enabling them to oversee the status of the botnet and coordinate fresh DDoS attacks. Typically, communications with other components of the infrastructure occurs through the Tor network, which enables anonymous and safeguards the botmaster's identity. The third component is the loader. The loader plays a crucial role in spreading executable files that are designed for various platforms such as ARM, MIPS, and x86, a total of 18 platforms. It achieves this by establishing direct communication with new targets or victims, allowing the malware to distribute effective across different devices and architectures. The last and the fourth component is report server. The report server is responsible for maintaining a database that contains all the information about the devices connected with the botnet. When new devices get infected, these typically establish a direct communication with the report server. This allows the newly infected device to provide information and update about the status, ensuring the botnet's database remains up to date with the latest additions to the network. Let's see how Mirai botnet works and spreads. Mirai conducts a scan on various public IP addresses using TCP port 23 or 2323. After the connection is established, the botnet employs a brute force attack to uncover the default credentials. Command and control server is used to check for new target victims and monitor the botnet status. Once the bot master selects the vulnerable device to infect, they issue an infect command through the loader. The loader logs into the target device and instructs it to download and execute the corresponding binary version of the malware. Once the malware is running, the newly recruited bot instance can establish communication with the command and control server to receive attack commands. The bot master directs all the bot instances to launch an attack against a specific server. Once instructed, the bot instances will begin the attack on the target server. Let's have a quick look at some of the high profile cases associated with Mirai botnet attacks. The first one is DYN. On October 21, 2016, DNS infrastructure managed by a company named DYN was targeted with multiple attacks. The attacks was conducted using approximately 100,000 Mirai botnet infected devices. The attack is still considered as one of the biggest DDoS attacks of all time with a traffic of 1.25 Tbps. Around 11:10 UTC, an initial attack was conducted in the form of elevated bandwidth against the DNS infrastructure called DYN in the regions Asia Pacific, South America, Eastern Europe, and US West region. The second attack against the DNS infrastructure managed by DYN began around 1550 UTC time and involved a diverse range of devices across the globe and utilized similar traffic protocols. This attack only lasted till 1700 UTC due to the security measures put in place by DYN. DYN provides essential DNS service to applications like Twitter, Spotify, Reddit, and due to the attack, these services were down and users were having bad services. Let's discuss another high profile case, and this one was the attack on Kreb on security. And DDoS attack was conducted on Kreb on security in September 2016, which became a significant event in the history of Mirai botnet, and this event showcased how powerful Mirai botnet can be. The DDoS attack was allegedly orchestrated by Anna Senpai as retaliation from Krebs working in exposing the operations of VDDoS and Israeli DDoS service firm. The attack was successful in flooding the target site with various types of traffic using a combination of Mirai and Basslight with a traffic rate of 620 Gbps, which was good enough to overwhelm the website's infrastructure. The traffic originated from a global botnet consisting of poorly secured IT devices including routers, DVRs, and IP cameras. The attack was mitigated by DDoS mitigation service provided by a company called Akamai. However, due to the magnitude of the traffic, it was affecting the other customers of the firm, and it costed literally millions of dollars to keep mitigating the traffic, so they decided to turn down the website offline for forever. The attack on OVH is also a high profile case, an incident of Mirai botnet. Another high profile case incident which took place after Krebs on security was the French internet service provider known as OVH. Multiple botnets were used to execute an attack, resulting in staggering amount of malicious traffic with an estimated amount of 1.1 Tbps. The attack used the vulnerabilities of DVRs, IP cameras, and routers to conduct the attack. The ISP was successful in mitigating the attack and its impacts and remained online throughout. However, an attack of similar magnitude was good enough to make servers down of smaller internet service providers. The attack on OVH unfolded in a series of waves with a duration of 10 seconds, 20 minutes, and 5 minutes. Let's have a look at the evolution and the continued growth of Mirai. Originally, Mirai botnet was launched in 2016, and after its source code being released publicly, it had several variants and successors like Okiro, Satori, the Masuta, and Pure Masuta with their modifications and improvements. In the modified versions, it was observed that there was a shift in command and control infrastructure from IP-based system to a domain-based system. It was observed that the malware became capable of deleting its own binary file while executing to avoid detection. With the newer versions, it was becoming difficult for network research to track and identify the malware. Between November 2016 and February 2017, 48 new sets of username and password sets were identified. In 2016, Mirai was capable of scanning TCP on ports like 7547 and 5555, which were the two most common ports associated with CWMP. As Mirai evolved, its operation demonstrated resilience to security measures, and with the introduction to evasion techniques like polymorphism and encryption, it became harder for security analysts and systems to detect it. A newer variant of Mirai named V3G4 targeted 13 vulnerabilities in Linux-based servers and IoT devices to conduct DDoS attacks. This variant spread via brute forcing weak or default SSH credentials and exploiting hard-coded vulnerabilities to perform remote code executions on the target devices. So this is still a concern because in today's time there are still variants of Mirai botnet and they're conducting DDoS attacks successfully. Prevention strategies against Mirai botnet attack. Prevention is crucial against Mirai and similar botnets as it helps to proactively reduce the risk of getting attacked and the security of the network. There are some ways through which we can use the prevention strategies to increase our chances. Some of these prevention strategies are strong passwords. It's always better to change your default credentials to a stronger randomized passwords. Second is automatic updates. Software developers need to make sure that they provide regular patches to the vulnerabilities and updates so that all the devices are on the updated firmware and prevents any attack from Mirai botnet due to the vulnerabilities caused due to unupdated firmwares. Third is security hardening. Since technology is developing, so later in future randomized passwords wouldn't be the end goal. IT security must evolve away from default open ports and adopt security hardening practices to mitigate the threat before it takes place. Fourth would be defragmentation. Fragmentation in IoT landscape presents security and interpretability risk where it comes to manage and maintaining IoT devices. The existence of various implementations of Telnet, FTP, and HTTP stacks were observed and during scanning of the network. To address this challenge, developers can find and adopt few operating systems such as Android, iOS, Windows, where they focus on less operating systems to improve the security. The next prevention strategy would be intrusion detection and prevention systems. Intrusion detection and prevention systems can play a vital role in preventing Mirai botnet attacks. The system helps to enhance the organization's security standards and enables them to combat threat caused by Mirai botnet. They can use patterns to detect if Mirai botnet is about to happen or it's taking place at the back end, and they can prevent it before it takes place actually. They can block suspicious IP addresses and they can detect fake traffic. Last prevention strategy would be end of life. Companies need to make sure that they provide updates and for a longer period of time. If devices do not get updates for longer period of time, then these devices become vulnerable in future and bonnets like Mirai can easily attack on them and take control over those devices. There are defense strategies which can be used to minimize the chances of getting attacked and prevent our system from bonnets like Mirai. One of them is intrusion detection system. Then other strategies like network traffic observation, identifying communication patterns, behavior-based anomaly detection, and enhanced authentication and access control can be used to improve our chances and minimize the chances of getting attacked and provide a better defense strategies and methodologies against Mirai botnets and similar other botnets. In addition to prevention and defense strategies, some mitigation measures then can be taken to minimize the impact of Mirai botnet or similar DDoS attacks. First is incident report plans. In today's ever-evolving threat landscape, preparedness and forethought are crucial for organizations to survive. And for that reason, it would be great if the organization takes care through incident report plans. By fostering a well-informed and vigilant workforce, organizations can strengthen their overall security posture and enhance their ability to detect and respond to and mitigate potential attacks. The other way to mitigate such attacks could be notification. Notifications are sent through alternative channels that are used as a backup method to bring devices back into compliance with security standards or to resolve infections. Example of recent cases including notifying device administrations through CERT bulletins, sending emails to abuse contact lists in WHOIS records, or displaying warnings in web browsers to inform the owners that a page has been compromised. However, implementing notifications in IoT space is particularly challenging. IoT devices lack clear indicators of ownership. Manufacturers' accountability. There is a significant lack of economic incentive for manufacturers to prioritize security features for IoT devices. Manufacturers minimize the cost of product and diminish the quality of the product to maximize profits and do not provide regular patches or firmware updates, making attacks like Mirai botnet successful. Manufacturers needs to mandate security-based designs and regular patches to mitigate the effects of Mirai botnet attacks. Update passwords. For users to safeguard against Mirai botnet and the exploitation, they need to change the default telnet username and passwords. Restarting devices could be a temporary way to mitigate the effects of Mirai botnet, and the user will have a couple minutes after it restarts to change the default credentials to save their device from Mirai botnet attack and the infection. Last is DDoS mitigation systems. Attacks like Mirai botnet can be mitigated by utilizing the industry standards best current practices (BCPs) and using mitigation systems like Arbor, SP/TMS, and APS to defend against attacks. Network operators can actively scan their networks as well as consumer networks for both vulnerabilities and compromised IoT devices and take corrective measures to mitigate the threat. In conclusion, the rapid growth of Internet of Things IoT devices has brought forth numerous benefits, but it also has presented significant security challenges and issues. The Mirai botnet attack demonstrated the disruptive power of compromised IoT devices, leading to major disruptions in Internet services and infrastructure. To combat these challenges, it's crucial to implement effective prevention and defense strategies. The report has emphasized the significance of education and awareness in mitigating the risk associated with IoT devices. In conclusion, the evolution of Mirai and its variants underscores the pressing need for ongoing efforts in addressing the IoT device security. By proactively addressing vulnerabilities and promoting a culture of security awareness, we can navigate the IoT ecosystem with reliability, ensuring the benefit of IoT technology with minimizing the risk posted by malicious actors and botnets like Mirai. Thank you.